Schools use a whole school approach to moderation processes to align curriculum, pedagogy, assessment and reporting. This episode is part 3 of a 3-part series that focuses on effective moderation processes at multiple junctures. In previous episodes, we looked at moderation processes before and after assessment takes place. In this episode, we will focus on moderation processes at the end of the reporting period, as well as using data collected through moderation processes to inform an intentional approach to improvement. The purpose of moderation at the end of the reporting period is to support teachers to calibrate and confirm judgments and to reach consensus about the quality of student work contained in the assessment folios, responses that are against the Australian Curriculum Achievement Standards and the appropriate reporting scale. The example activity card to moderate at this juncture can be found under the Moderation tab on the Assessment and Moderation Hub. Let's look at an example of the process. Teachers choose 3 student summative assessment folios representing evidence at, above and below the standard, and engage in moderation conversations to calibrate their judgments before they make judgments for the rest of the class or cohort. Teachers could also confirm their judgments after they have been made by moderating 5 sample assessment folios representing evidence at each level of achievement, A, B, C, D and E, if applicable. Teachers engage in moderation processes to match the evidence of student work in response to summative assessment contained in the folio against the aspects of the achievement standard being taught and assessed in the reporting period. Teachers do this using an understanding of the expectations of student achievement described in the achievement standard, the related assessable elements appropriate to the learning area or subject, and the appropriate reporting scale. Teachers then make an on-balance judgment about the quality of student evidence in the folio against each of the targeted aspects of the achievement standard and related assessable elements in order to reach consensus and award an overall level of achievement for the reporting period. Where there is uneven student performance across the assessment tasks, an on-balance judgment is based on patterns of evidence demonstrated in student work included in the folio against the relevant achievement standard. For more information on making judgments on a folio of student work, go to the Reporting tab on the Assessment and Moderation Hub. Click on the Report on Academic Achievement using Assessment Folios in the drop-down. Teachers use their calibrated and confirmed judgments on the folios to ensure accuracy of reporting on the student achievement.
We use a really simple, easy to read cover sheet, which allows teachers to understand and make an on-balance judgment towards their end moderation. It allows for consistency of teacher judgments, as well as outlines all of the student assessment samples. We use the data to inform our planning for the next unit of work, as well as the student individual goals for the next units as well.
As a regional team at this juncture, we really support schools to engage in effective moderation processes. At this particular juncture, we encourage the rich dialogue about the folio of evidence, a useful tool to guide conversations for making accurate judgments for reporting and to discuss next steps in learning is the year or band plans. They can be adapted to track the individual student's achievement against the aspects of the standard.
A key part of the rural and remote virtual end juncture assessment folio moderation is the acknowledgement and celebration of the diversity of teaching that's in the room. On a basis of parity and reciprocity, beginning teachers, some of which are only in their 6th or 7th week of their teaching career, come alongside in an inclusive learning space alongside old salts, a bit like me, who've been in the teaching game for over 30 years. By accepting and embracing that we're all at different parts of the teaching proficiency scale, we can learn from one another to make on-balance achievement judgments to refine the precision of our core work. That core work being the teaching of the Australian Curriculum of Efficacy to ensure that every child succeeds.
Let's hear from some curriculum leaders about how they use data collected from moderation processes.
In 2019, we noticed that in the data collected during the English moderation, that we found that there was a lot of inconsistencies in the judgments that were being made, especially towards the A's and B's. Over the last couple of years, we have refined our whole school approach to moderation. We made the decision to invest more time in teachers developing a shared understanding at the beginning of the unit of work and clearly agreeing on what evidence, in response, match the task-specific descriptors, especially for a C, A and B. So making moderation an integral part of our teaching and learning cycle has allowed for teacher clarity, as well as a quicker consensus towards on-balance judgment, as well as increase in student achievement in A's and B's.
Delving deep into the data assists schools to prioritise their resources. For example, after engaging in end moderation activities, a team of teachers may identify that there are gaps in student learning in English for creating text. Therefore, this is where teachers and leaders would focus conversations on these particular aspects of the curriculum, as well as the pedagogy. The use of data should be planned to build our understanding of student learning and to inform instruction. Moderation processes support the school improvement agenda based on the evidence of student learning.
Moderation processes develop a deep and shared understanding of the curriculum. Moderation processes can ensure that teachers align curriculum, pedagogy, assessment and reporting. Moderation processes are more than events or meetings. They're authentic opportunities to discuss what students can demonstrate. It's about intentionally collaborating and working, learning and improving together to ensure that we have consistent, accurate and reliable judgments about how our students have demonstrated their learning against the relevant Australian curriculum achievement standards across every Queensland state school.
For more information about moderation processes in Prep to Year 10, see the Assessment and Moderation Hub.